when it comes to Tennessee politics because there's a lot going on. So Brandon Lewis, who knows it better than anyone, he's the founder of the Tennessee Conservative, is joining me on the show right now. Brandon, how are you, sir?
Hey, nice to be here with you, buddy.
All right, so I wanted to ask you about some of these budget bills. You had a story on your site that said Tennessee budget bills passed through multiple committees in one day, and you were telling me in the break that you were kind of talking with Senator Bo Watson about some of this. What is the latest on some of this?
Well, so there's always a budgeting process. If something gets put behind the budget, meaning it's going to cost money, it's not allocated in the budget already, then it can go behind the budget and then through the Finance Committee, and this is often done jointly between the House and the Senate, they hash it out to see what gets out, and then there's a reconciliation process. And so right now, the bill that Bo has been pushing for, which is really the only significant preventative bill that has not been killed by Republicans, it's one of the few bills left standing that would make a big difference, is working its way through the House budgeting process. There are two people in particular that we're kind of worried about because the vote's close. John Crawford has got a terrible record all the way around. I mean, he's killed every bill that's ever been brought to close the primaries, won't hear discussion on it, all that kind of stuff. And then Ron Gant is not very conservative either. So we're hoping it's so close right now that one of those two will feel some heat and shift their vote. So we think that perhaps that bill can make its way out, and that's House Bill 793, which essentially just gives our local school board the ability to vote. Do they want to burden taxpayers in Hamilton County for legal alien education, or they're going to require those folks that are here illegally to pay tuition so that the taxpayers don't have to pay it? And then also House Bill 322, which creates an offense of human smuggling for harboring or hiding or assisting illegal immigrants who are known to have been entered the state illegally and to have allowed to be able to remain in the country. So even though it had such a small fiscal note of $4,000, it still got stuck behind the budget.
And, correct me if I'm wrong, but your take on that bill generally, the one dealing about allowing school boards to charge tuition when it comes to illegal immigrant students, you said it's better than nothing, but this one has actually been watered down because originally it had some teeth to force the school boards, right? And this one merely allows them to do it if they want to. Am I correct?
Well, there was one that just said, hey, if you're here illegally, we're just not going to give you any state money, okay? And so that one went through, just got killed, murdered by RINOs in committee. It's all these, we can't even get half measures through the Republican-controlled supermajority on preventative illegal immigration bills. Even things that are watered down won't make that big of a difference. Even those just get killed left and right. We've got Todd Gardenhire in our own county here voted against this bill that Bo's brought, which I think is a good bill. We recently had a vote in the county executive committee where, we passed a resolution commending Bo. We had two of our SEC members, David Queen and Ken Meyer, passed. They wouldn't even vote for it. And so we just don't have much stomach for what the GOP primary voters want relative to stopping illegal immigration in the state.
Yeah, I know you guys posted this on your social media. It was a story by Blaze Media, and it said, weak Republicans may derail Tennessee's bold move against illegal immigration. So it's getting some national attention here.
Well, it's about time. I mean, it really irks me that we have so many national, quote-unquote, celebrities that are in Tennessee, like they're here, their headquarters are here, famous people that could help us make our state conservative. They fled, many of them, blue states, and they move here, and they tell their followers to get engaged, but they don't get engaged. And so I think it's pretty hypocritical. I understand there's not a lot of money to be made in being a good citizen in your state as a conservative pundit, but boy, you sure can get a lot of political return. So I'm glad to see at least one publication picking up on this story. That's very true because we've been following it for 5 years, and that is, our Republican Party is not nearly as conservative as people think in Tennessee.
Speaking with Brandon Lewis, he's the founder of the Tennessee Conservative. So you have been keeping up with this issue a lot, dealing with maybe stripping local GOPs of caucus rights. That bill actually passed a Tennessee House despite statewide objections. So it passed the full House, correct?
Well, it passed the House, it passed the Senate, and so the crux of this argument has been basically that for 10 years, the Republican Party and local GOPs and anyone that has any sense when you survey them, they don't want Democrats voting in Republican primaries, which is what we have now. Our own DA, Cody Wamp, even though it's illegal, said that people that cross over shouldn't have to fear anything happening, because a lot of crossover voting went on in the county mayor's race where her brother, Weston Wamp, ran. And there's only been one or two cases in the state of DAs that had the you-know-what to actually prosecute crossover voting. And so one of the ways that you can keep Democrats out of your elections for Republicans is to have a caucus through the party. And the mere threat that some people might do that caused Jack Johnson and Lee Reeves, who both just took a spanking at their reorganization after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in Williamson County. And there are a lot of other Republicans that desperately want Democrats voting in Republican primaries. There was a bill brought to close the primaries this year, and it was killed in committee by Republicans. And so it doesn't seem to matter how loud the GOP primary voter screams for, very simple, basic issues. We just don't have representatives that are nearly as conservative as your average GOP primary voter. And, Todd Warner said rightly that they were lied to in committee because it came out of committee without having it been put behind the budget with no fiscal note. And then the thing gets all the way through the committee process, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, there's a fiscal note, and they can find the money, right, easily find the money to let Democrats vote in Republican primaries, but they're really struggling to find the money to make sure that we don't have to fund illegal alien education. So it's just hypocrisy run amok. And ultimately, in the end, Yaffee, what I think is going to happen is this. I just look at these things politically. It creates all this friction between the grassroots in the county and the incumbents that voted for this stuff. And so as there's more and more friction and there's more and more disagreement between what GOP primary voters want and what the establishment is willing to give, you're going to see more and more challengers show up in the primary, and they just keep piling up the evidence that can be used against them in campaigns. So that is the only bright spot I can see to this. We're going to have to go through these 2026 elections again if we're really going to probably have to, do anything on these issues that keep dying, and some people in leadership are just going to have to be replaced in order for us to move forward.
No, I understand as well. I think the last time I had spoken to you about this, you had also predicted that maybe this would go to the Supreme Court because it's the government telling a private organization.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean, parties, any party, they can pick their candidates the way they want to. It's a private organization. The state, they select the candidate. The candidate has a platform, and then they run, right? The party controls that. And so I'm hopeful, since the state executive committee, I think they voted almost unanimously a resolution against this. And they were all mad. Now we got to see if they're not just going to bluff and bluster in these meetings, but if they're going to file suit against their own leadership, which I would not be surprised to see happen. And I think that if they have a fair shake, I think even the Tennessee Supreme Court may reject the legislature's overreach in the private affairs. It's funny, our Republican leadership never wants to get involved with private organizations if they're large corporations that donate lots of money to their campaigns. But boy, if there's somebody that's going to, stand up for their right, that's more on the grassroots level, that's more in line with the GOP primary voters, they got all day and all the energy they need in those situations.
Brandon Lewis, he's the founder of the Tennessee Conservative. You can read his stuff, catch out his podcast, check out the podcast of this interview as well right there on the website, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Make sure to subscribe as well so to get their newsletter every day. Brandon, really appreciate you coming on. As always, we'll talk to you again in the future.
Hey, Yaffee.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I plug an upcoming event? I'm sorry, I should have asked you about this.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
The Hamilton County Republican Party is meeting this coming Monday. Everyone is invited. If you're a conservative, if you're a Republican, you want to come. It's the Greenway Farms Conference Center, and that's off Gann's Store Road in Hickson. This is Monday the 21st at 6:30 p.m. And if you want to RSVP, it's very easy. You just email HCGOP, which is Hamilton County GOP, at hcgop.com. We would love to have you all there. Come check out what's going on with your Republican Party.